Hi, 大家好，我是 Fiona. In this video, Jake and I are going to share a very handy and high-frequency expression from the Analects of Confucius, 论语. The expression is
己所不欲，勿施于人.
Before we talk about the expression in more detail, we'd like to share our thoughts on why we think 论语 is worth studying for language learners. Lúnyǔ is a key cultural text believed to be compiled and written by the followers of Confucius in the Warring States period, around 475 BC to 221 BC. It contains short stories and teachings from Confucius. Confucius talks about family, relationships, education, politics, justice, and many more topics.
And as a Chinese learner, if you get a chance, really do take the time to check out the Lúnyǔ because it not only gives you some historical insight into Chinese culture, but also some context about how modern Chinese culture and language kind of embodies, embraces, and sometimes even rebels against Confucian thinking. And honestly, this expression that we're talking about today is one of the first kind of like idiomatic phrases that I learned. It came up, you hear it all the time, and it was like a must know. So putting aside how we feel about what Confucius might have been trying to promote, his ideas have undeniably influenced Chinese culture, specifically around things like education, as Fiona had said, and his words have evolved, or at least the words that, as they're written in the Lúnyǔ, have evolved to become expressions and sayings that you hear, like I said, kind of in daily conversation all the time.
So Lúnyǔ is definitely a text that both Jake and I are passionate about, as you can see from our own from our own bookshelves. This is a unanimous decision to share an expression from Lúnyǔ because it is so important, but we can imagine how it might seem daunting at first to go into a classical text like this. But I would really advise you to go check it out because the reason being is that Confucius was a teacher rather than a poet. And what I mean by that is poets tended to have very flowery and beautiful language, whereas Confucius as a teacher would give you kind of short, succinct ideas, concepts. He would often give you things in threes, like number 1, 3 things about great friendship, 1, 2, 3. Or a clear concept like the one we're talking about today. Or he'd even just tell you a story. So the language in Lúnyǔ is surprisingly approachable.
Yeah, I think so. It does require you to have a pretty good comprehension of lots of characters, or at least be willing to kind of go in and look a lot of things up because like you said, this is a classical text. It is going to use some of the classical language, but the 2 books that I have here, 发现论语 and this other one, which is just Confucian Analects, these are written, for non-native speakers for us to kind of dig in and understand some of the stuff. Let's go back to our expression today, which is 己所不欲，勿施于人. And Fiona, what does this mean?
你自己不喜欢别人这样对你，你就别用那样的方式对别人。
So in other words, we want to treat others as we would like to be treated. This sounds very similar to the golden rule, but I like to always describe it as kind of the silver rule. And I think that's because with this expression, it kind of has more of a, like, don't do bad things to people. Like if you don't want people to do bad things to you, don't do it to them, right?
Exactly. I feel like it's a very simple, it's just like, don't do stuff that you wouldn't want done to you. And I feel that this expression, it's clear why it comes up a lot in daily conversation. But before we talk about the usages, let's have a bit of a breakdown.
Yeah. Hi, Lilia.
Yay!
Hi. Can you say ni hao? Say hello. We probably don't need to exploit my child. But we can if we want to. You have my permission.
Let's have a bit of a breakdown. Breakdown, down. 己, or in this case, 自己的己, because of the tone change rule, we say 己. This means oneself. 所 is a function word that emphasizes the verb that follows. 不 is don't. 欲 is to want, 想要或是喜欢的东西。己所不欲, what yourself do not want. 勿 is don't. 施 is to give or to 给. 己所不欲，勿施, don't give. 于 is a function word that is usually followed by a place or a person. In this case, it's 人. 别人 another person. So, 己所不欲 what yourself do not want. 勿施于人 don't give it onto someone else.
So it's used to give warning and to remind us to be mindful in our actions and how we treat others. So let's look at some example sentences. 我们一起来看看一些例句。
俗话说，己所不欲，勿施于人。别当人家的小三。你不喜欢别人勉强你，你就别勉强别人。己所不欲，勿施于人的道理，你懂吗
？So now that we've seen the example sentence, let's practice the expression one more time to make sure that you can give warning or to be mindful of your actions next time. So let's practice one more time. 己所不欲，
己所不欲，
勿施于人，
勿施于人。
Perfect. So if you'd like to know some more expressions from Lúnyǔ, do go check out the list that we've compiled, and you can find that in the description below. So it's kind of, I would say, some of the top expressions that every learner needs to know from Lúnyǔ.
That is all for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. 非常感谢. If you did like the video, be sure to subscribe and give our channel a thumbs up. Do you know any other expressions from Lúnyǔ? Please let us know in the comments below and take an opportunity to go check out the practice pad. Fiona has prepared some really cool expressions from Lúnyǔ and from Confucius that are in there for you guys to check out, and stay tuned for more interesting videos from Skritter. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Oh my god.
It's a really passionate kiss. Whoa!